Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Duel. I haven't put out a video in quite some time, and I'm not even going to make any excuses for that because life gets in the way. Anyway, I just wanted to talk some Spider-Man. It's been a minute since we've talked about Spider-Man. That's what we do on this channel, right? We talk about Spider-Man and everything Spider-Man because that's just, I don't have anything better to talk about than Spider-Man. Spider-Man's cool. He's a cool dude, and I like talking about him, and I like just sharing my thoughts to camera and uploading it to a place where everybody can see it. So anyway, hi, I'm here. Um, so basically what I'm going to start doing is recording from my laptop. So if my scenery looks different every time or not, then you know why. Anyway, um, so I wanted to talk about this because I saw this on Twitter, and I'll probably share the post in the video. But basically, it was like some 4chan leak about Venom 3, and oh boy, yeah, it was quite a doozy. Basically, it ensued a not ensued it. It basically was like this thing where Venom and Eddie are like listening to the hive mind. And if you remember from Venom 2, spoilers by the way, if you remember from Venom 2, they used the hive mind to kind of figure out who Peter Parker was. Like, he recognized who Spider-Man was because he fought him in Spider-Man 3, and that whole debacle and all that silly goofiness that happened in Venom 2. So yeah, so basically they detect that a version of Peter Parker, and I'm assuming that this is in the Sonyverse, is going to end up hunting Venom down and killing him, which I have a problem with that already, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So yeah, so anyway, the plot, that's how the plot starts out. And so basically what they end up doing is they end up going to hunt down this version of Peter Parker in the Sonyverse, and he's like 10 years old, and then they kidnap him. And then also on the side, they're dealing with a version of Toxin that just wants to destroy all monsters, and I'm assuming that involves Venom himself, and probably any other version of any symbiote, or potentially even Morbius. I don't know. It's not even talked about. Not even Morbius is not even mentioned in this. It's I think I read that it was either a prequel or a if I get it, it could be a sequel or a prequel to the Madam Web movie that's coming out, which I should probably talk about that at some point too. But when it comes to Sony, I almost dismiss everything that they do because it's just not good. And I think the next thing on the slate is going to be Craven before we get that movie. But anyway, so yeah, so they track down 10-year-old Peter Parker. They kidnap him. Toxin's hunting him down. And for some other dumb reason, Toxin wants to destroy Peter because I don't know why. It doesn't say why. And then there's like a note in there where it says that Venom exposes 10-year-old Peter to spiders, and then he gets bit by a spider, and then they end up having to deal with that whole situation. So I think that about covers it for the most part, and I'm just sitting here racking my brain like none of this, out of all of the things they could do with Venom in the multiverse, and this is what they choose. Like, I would seriously, I would just take a version of Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, where he meets up with Topher Grace and they literally just fight, and that's the movie. Like, that should be the plot for Venom 3, because Venom 2 was just so freaking goofy. Like, that's what it should just be at this point. It's just this crazy goofiness. And this isn't even this other side plot with 10-year-old Peter. This is not goofy. This is dumb. Like, if you weren't going to include Spider-Man, it's almost like they're doing the exact same thing that they did with Tom Holland, where they're like, oh, we're not going to do an origin story, but actually it's an origin story across 3 movies. But they're going to do the same thing with Venom, where it's like, oh, we're not going to talk about Spider-Man in the first Venom. We're not even going to mention him. And then the second one, we're going to be like, oh yeah, I think I remember who that guy is because the multiverse. And now they're like, oh, well, Peter's actually been here all along, and I actually know who he is, and now we should eliminate him because he's going to be a threat to me in the future. Like, bro, this is such a mess. If this is real, and granted, it's from 4chan, so do with that as you will. But the whole thing, it just sounds so goofy to me, and I'm just like, what are they thinking? Like, they just want to find any reason to like milk the multiverse, and not in a good way. And we already saw that with Morbius. And I just think the whole thing is just so goofy. And What are they thinking? Like, really, like, who in the right mind would, like, if you are a Spider-Man fan and a Sony exec walks up to you and pitches this to you, you would be like, you'd slap them in the jaw. Like, this is not good. Like, nothing about this is good. Now, if they go full silly and goofy like they did in Venom 2, I guess there's some argument to be made that it could be this funny bad movie that you could just sit there and point and laugh at in the theater, which is what most people did. In fact, almost majority of people who went and saw Morbius did that and just memed on it. But no, you can't do that, because then Sony is like, oh my god, you're memeing on it. I mean, the fans must love like, the fans must love this, so we have to go and meme on it. We have to re-release this whole thing. We have to capitalize on the meme. They even put out like and this could have just been Jared Leto, but Jared Leto put out a video where he was like, he had a script in his hand, and it was literally like Morbius 2, it's Morbin time, or something like that. And it was just so goofy, and I'm like, bro, they're laughing at you. They're not laughing with you. And they're like, it's almost like when it's like when you're making fun of somebody and then they don't understand that you're making fun of them, and then they just start laughing like, oh shit, are they talking about me? Like, they don't get it. They can't figure it out. And I'm not saying I condone making fun of somebody, because that's terrible. Why would you do that? But that's what everybody does. They point and laugh at Sony because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to handle this character anymore, and it's so goofy. And part of me wonders if, like, what's in this contract with Marvel? Are they not allowed to just say, hey, Spider-Man exists? Are they just so scared of taking risks that they can't just go, yeah, actually, there's a whole other actor that's not Toby, that's not Tom, and it's not Andrew, and just be like, yeah, he's 26 years old, he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, and he's running around. Why don't we get something like that? I mean, granted, if you're not a hardcore Spider-Man fan, such as me, I'm not even that hardcore. I'm like, subpar. I'm just obsessive about the character, then I would watch that and it would be entertaining for me. I would want to see this version of Peter, and then I'd be like, all right, well, Sony can do that, and then the Marvel Cinematic Universe can keep doing whatever the fuck they're doing and continue make their Tom Holland movies, and it'll be fine. People would, in fact, no, you don't even need to be a hardcore fan anymore, and No Way Home proves that the fans love Spider-Man no matter what. And we saw all three versions, so a fact is that they could literally do a Venom versus Spider-Man and team up against Toxin or whatever symbiote they choose, because it doesn't fucking matter at this point. It's just one giant CGI monster. They're all the same. And just slap Spider-Man in there, and it could be anybody. Hell, you could pull in the version from Spider-Man PS4 and say he's the Sonyverse Spider-Man in the Venom universe. Whatever the fuck you want. I call it the Sonyverse. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I just had to do a video about this because the whole thing is just perplexing to me, and I just had to talk about it. So, anyways, I'm going to be doing more of my Spectacular Spider-Man videos very soon. It's been too long. I need to get back on that. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, a lot's happened in my life. I'm not gonna make any excuses, but that's why there's been a delay in content. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility. And I'm Dual Dyer, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. All right, I gotta close it out now. Stop button. There it is.